Hey, it's Jody, your friendly neighborhood SEO expert and content writer for pet businesses. Back with another bonus episode of SEO Snippets for savvy pet businesses. So today's bonus episode of SEO Snippets for savvy pet businesses is all about hashtags and whether they have any use on a website or have any impact on SEO. Now, hashtags are awesome on social media. I know there's a lot of discussion around whether they're still helpful because you can't follow them on Instagram and they're like, but they are still good tools to help people find your content because they're still searchable on Instagram and other platforms. Even if you can't follow them, people still kind of search under hashtags. There's still a way to, the same way that hashtags work on Instagram and social media, which is where they should stay. Hashtags should stay on social media. So let's just put that to bed. Um, the same, like if you're looking for a way to kind of lump content together in your blogs, in the same way that hashtags do that on social media, there are already tools on your website to do that. Now, I will say one caveat. So hashtags are not to be used on your website. However, if you're running some sort of event or you're doing like some sort of, maybe you're doing a social media challenge, or maybe like you want to kind of drum up some user generated content. So you write a blog about something you're triggering, like asking people to do or some challenge or something, and you're like, share with us, or even on your product pages, even it's like, share with us your dog doing this trick, or share with us like your dog enjoying this food, these treats, and then you can put a hashtag. That's one way you could use hashtags. They're not to be used on your website as a way to lump content together, or on your blogs as a way to lump content together, but they can be used strategically to encourage people to share on their own social media your products, your services, and your brand. Which means that they can be strategically, you create your own personal hashtags, and they can be strategically placed on product pages, service pages, particular blogs if it's about a particular thing. But they're not to be used on your website to clump content together and like categorize it essentially. If you do want to clump blogs together and categorize them, use the category function. Now, I cannot think of a single website builder. Please correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, for sure, for the people that are using different builders to me. Like I work off WordPress almost exclusively. I have worked with clients that have worked on Shopify, that build on Shopify, others that have built on Squarespace. Haven't really ever played with Wix, or I've had a little bit of interaction with Showit, which is built off similar to most of the others. Haven't yet really engaged with Canva. I know Canva has a website builder. I'm trying to think of what other ones are there. Square, like Square, the payment system. Now you can build a website. Like Kajabi, I don't really know how that works either. But I'm pretty sure all of those website builders that I just mentioned, and all of the others that are out there, would have some way in which you can categorize your blog posts in a similar way that on your the e-commerce part of your website, if you sell products, there is ways to categorize your products. There would also be ways to categorize your blog posts. And that's a great way to kind of reinforce your content pillars, to reinforce your authority in a particular topic. It sends good signals to the search algorithms and helps them guide them around the website in a structured way. Like that's like, it's part of internal linking. It's really helpful. Um, and all, like it has a lot of benefits. And there's also possibly a tag situation. You could possibly tag posts. Now, I will say, if you are going to use this as a form of like lumping or categorizing your blog content, if you're going to use categories or tags, you need to be aware of the fact that what will happen is similar to if you have an e-commerce brand and you're putting different products into different categories, it then creates a page for that category. Now, one of the things in my SEO masterclass that I pointed out as a common mistake I find for a lot of businesses is lacking copy on those sorts of pages. Like you might have a solid about page, you might have a solid, like you might have solid services pages, you might have a solid homepage, you might have already started blogging and done a great job. If you then wrap in like a category page, and this is also something like the reason I flagged it in my masterclass is because I've seen it on with e-commerce brands quite commonly, that they have category pages for their products or their shop page even, and there's no content on it. It's just a title and then a list of products. The same would happen if you created a category for your blog posts. So, although I think it's a great opportunity to help reinforce your keywords and use some of those keywords and um, send Google around your site and the bots around your site and internal linking, there's so many positives to it. There is that caveat that if you're going to allow that category page to be created, you need to be aware of the fact that that will be crawled, and therefore it needs to have on it copy and headlines with keywords in them, title tag and meta description, if you want it to be found. Now, I will say that no indexing category pages can cause issues with the blog posts that are listed on that page, and can cause like it. So it's like it's a double-edged sword, because some platforms don't allow you to kind of edit those category pages, some do. So you've really got to consider the benefit versus the possible SEO risk in terms of having these random pages created, not random, so to speak, but these pages created that can be crawled, and you don't really want to stop them from being crawled if they are hosting, like if they're listing blog posts, but you also can't really if you don't have the option to then optimize them, like add content and really deep dive into that keyword that they may be used for the category, then is it really valuable to have that? And could you be better served to just create a really solid blog that is a content pillar sort of piece where you kind of cover the topic area and kind of create this category page, but have it in a way built by yourself in a way that you can then edit it. Now, another function that most websites have that can help, or that can also categorize things, is tags. Now, again, you have the exact same issue. Like, I have previously worked for brands that have had user categories and were able to edit the content, so that was great. We were able to make it really SEO optimized, but then they've also had tags. Now, and even I have it on my site, but I've stopped using the tags on my website. I do still use the categories, and it does frustrate me. I haven't optimized. I have to admit that I haven't optimized my category pages, but I stopped using the tags because of the fact that they also create new pages, and it was just getting too much. And I'm like, this is way too many pages, and I couldn't work out. I need to investigate more to find out how to edit those pages. So I just and it also became just messy when they start like adding the tags under the headline of the blog and stuff. It just starts to get messy. So yeah, so tags are also another option, but if you're going to go for one of those two options, I'd choose categories over tags and keep it tight. So what keep it tight means when it comes to categories is choose maybe 4, 5, 6, maybe 10, depending on how many blogs you've got and how many different topic areas you can cover. But keep it really, really tight as to how many categories you really want, right? This again will help. Like, think of your content pillars, think of like the core concept you kind of are going to be blogging about. And this will help reinforce your authority in those content area topics, but it will also keep it tidier. Like, you don't want to have to add too many extra pages to your website, especially if they're not going to have a lot on them. So just keep it tight, keep it to core topics. You can then add some subcategories if need be. It's about thinking about whether you truly need that to be a separate category, or if it's fine to just be categorized under the main category. Now, if you are going to use categories, try and make sure that the categories you're using are keywords that you're also targeting. Now, I'm not saying create a category for every keyword, just targeting, but this is where those more specific keywords can come into play, where you may not write a blog that's just about dog treats, for instance, but you can have a category that's dog treats. The blog might be more specific to like training treats or long lasting treats, or the blog post, sorry, all of the different topics. But you can have a category that's dog treats. You can have a category, so it's a bit broader. So think about it like that. So, but make sure, but still kind of think about the categories in a keyword rich way, because it will help reinforce your authority on those keywords. It will help tell Google, again, send more signals to search algorithms in Google that you know about this topic area, whether it be dog treats, whether it be dog training, whether it be puppy training, whether it be dog grooming or cat brushing, or like you may not have like I would recommend going for longer key phrases when it comes to the blogs, but with the category, you can kind of go for those short, sharp, very probably highly competitive keywords, because although you may not rank for them because they may not end up ranking for them because they are so highly competitive, it just adds just that little bit of extra SEO juice, and it just sends that little bit of extra signal to Google that you know your stuff around that topic, and it feeds your ability to eventually lift up your rankings even in the broader category, like all the broader topic areas or keywords you're using. If you've got these extra like SEO signals going off about the broader topic, then it will make the more specific topics SEO juice be a bit stronger. So yeah, so think of categories, blog categories, as like scent trails. They're a tool that you can use to help guide Google, the bots, and your users around your site. It's like it's another form of internal linking. It's just in a structured way. But like I said, my number one tip, if you are going to use it, is look into how you can optimize those pages, because you want, if you're going to use them and utilize them, you also want to make sure you're getting the most out of them. Anyway, let me know what you think about categories and whether you use hashtags, if you have your own branded hashtag, drop it in the comments. But yeah, that's my bonus episode this week, and I'll see you next week.